Hey guys, welcome to Motorides. My name is Amit Chhangani and today I am going to give you a review of the Benelli Imperiale 405 minutes or less. So let's get started. First things first, this is the biggest bike in the segment, bigger than the Royal Enfield Classic 50 and the Java. You get 19-inch wheels up front, 18 at the rear. The widest tires in this segment, you get a 100 section tire up front, a 130 section at the rear, and you get a dual channel ABS, 300 mm front and a 240 mm rear. This is not switchable. 2-pot caliper up front, 41 mm forks up front. This is the meatiest in this section, very meaty fender as well. No LED lights, only a halogen, and you have these blinkers as bulbs. Coming to the instrument console, you have a semi-digital instrument console. Speedo and tacho are analog, and you get 2 trips and 1 odo. You get gear indicator, you get a fuel gauge, you have a cluster for telltale lights here, and you can convert the units to kilometers per hour or miles per hour as per your convenience. You have this switch gear here, you have the pass light. The only difference that you have here is this hazard switch, a flat handlebar, and this Benelli lettering. Very nice, usable and vibe free rear view mirrors, and they're very sturdy. 12 liters of fuel tank. 3 colors, you have a red, you have a black, and you have a silver. The stitching on the seat comes color coded with the color of the bike itself, and this thing here is hinged. You cannot take it off completely. Now you look at the seat, you have a pair of springs here for added comfort. The seat is generally comfortable, but the suspension is very stiff, and this is one of the areas where the Benelli Imperiale is not all that great, but the build quality, fit and finish is fantastic. It's one of the best finished motorcycles in its class. This is the exhaust, looks somewhat like the Royal Enfield, but this is black, and I'm going to fire it up. Handling is good thanks to this very stable twin cradle chassis, 5-step adjustable twin suspension at the rear, and as I mentioned, this suspension is very stiff. Apart from that, the seat height is 780 mm, so shorter riders will not have a problem. Pillion seat is comfortable, easily accessible for shorter riders, but there is a problem. It's very short and very cushy, so it's probably not going to be very useful in the longer runs. You have these grab handles and this grab rail, which is very usable. Apart from that, you get a sari guard here. This is one of the widest fenders, rear fenders on any of these motorcycles. In this section, you have a bulb here as a tail lamp and bulbs as blinkers as well. A brace for the fender makes it very sturdy, and the battery compartment is here. The Lion of Pesaro, Benelli. These are the details that you have here, and the ground clearance is 165 mm. If you look at the weight, 205 kg, which is the heaviest in this segment. 194 kgs for the Royal Enfield and 170 kgs for the Java. The brake lever gets 4-step adjustment, but the clutch lever doesn't. This is not too light, not too heavy. Apart from that, if you want to talk about the engine, the power here is 21 PS and torque is 29 Newton meters. If you really compare it with the segment, the power on the Royal Enfield is 20.5 PS, slightly less, but the torque is 1 Nm less. The Java has more power, 27 horsepower of peak power and 28 Newton meters of torque. Torque there also is 1 Newton meters less, so most amount of torque but not the most amount of power. But then the Royal Enfield Classic 350. So these are the specs, but if you talk about the engine's character, it's very smooth, completely vibe free motorcycle. There is no vibes on the handlebar, not on the seat, on the foot pegs, nowhere. It's a very smooth motorcycle. Top speed would be about 120, but the bike just won't cross that number. In gear speeds, the first gear will take you to 47 kilometers per hour, second gear is going to take you to 75, third will take you to 98 kilometers per hour, and fourth will take you about 118 kilometers per hour. Fifth is a struggle above 110. So this is cruising comfortably only between 90 and 100, and at 5000 rpm it's doing 5 kilometers per hour in 5th gear. There are 5 gears. The gears are reasonably slick. There is a bit of notchiness, but it's not as bad as Royal Enfield, and this motorcycle really is very vibe free, very rev happy. Revs all the way to 6,500-7,000 rpm, although the peak power is produced as 5,500 rpm, but this engine does not resist revving like Royal Enfield. This is very smooth, very rev friendly, rev happy.
The fuel efficiency is in the range of 25 to 30 kilometers per liter depending on how you ride.
This motorcycle feels very stable in a straight line, although around corners the Jawa feels slightly nimble. Obviously the Royal Enfield is not known for its handling, and this motorcycle definitely aces it around corners. Also, this is very reliable, but because of its long wheelbase and its weight, it's not as nimble as the Jawa, but it's very sure-footed. Sure, it's not a sports bike, but for a cruiser kind of a motorcycle, the handling is pretty good. The build quality is fantastic. The paint is fantastic. You get 3 years of unlimited kilometers warranty and 2 years of free service. So that's an added bonus. So that's a gist of what to expect from the Benelli Imperiale 400. 1,69,000 rupees ex-showroom, 15,000 more than the Royal Enfield and about 5,000 more than the Jawa. And I think it's great value for money because it's the biggest, very substantial. It's got FI, so you can take it to the Himalayas, and this bike can off-road. I took it to some really broken roads today, and this motorcycle feels very solid, and the ground clearance of 165 mm is sufficient to take it over bad roads. So that's the Imperiale 400 in a nutshell, and I hope this video was of some use to you. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to Motoroids, and until next time, this is Amit Chhangani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and ride safe.